What's up guys, it's Amanda and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the first of its kind on my channel and it's a little bit different, so please bear with me and be patient. I'm sure these videos will evolve and improve over time, but let's just get into it. I started bullet journaling. Okay, so I ordered some bullet journals about mid-October. I believe I started this bullet journal officially on like October 14th, so I've had it for about 3 weeks now. It's getting towards the end of October now, and I ordered them on Amazon and they came in this set of 3. They're not super big, and of course they have the bullet journal pages, which is something that I really wanted, and I thought that these would just be a good way to sort of test drive this whole bullet journal thing and see if it's for me before I commit to something that's, you know, larger, more expensive, and more long-term. So the one that I picked to start out with was this brown cover. I feel like this is the most traditional bullet journal that I see. I looked up a lot of inspiration on Pinterest when I was considering this new adventure, and that's where a lot of the sort of spreads in here are coming from. Just sort of like my ideas that I've compiled from Pinterest and then from watching bullet journaling videos. I got really excited about it. I decorated the cover of mine a little bit. I did these little hand-drawn flowers with the Pentel pocket brush pen, and then I added some detail with my white gel pen. So nothing too fancy, but I do like it. On the inside here, I have sort of a little swatch list of all of the pens that I have. Now, when I ordered the bullet journals, I did also order this set of Suo Color 36 dual tip brush pens. Even though I was aware that the pages in these bullet journals might be really thin and they might bleed through, I thought that these would be kind of just a good way to add some accents. They were very inexpensive, and they're kind of a nice alternative to like the Tombow watercolor markers. I will explain where and when I use them as I kind of show you what I've created thus far, and then I might use them in a little bit of the planning spreads that I do for the month of November. But I did just want to mention that I got these. They're okay. Some of the tips on them are kind of frayed. Some of the colors are really similar. I don't know, I'm sure you can see that there. I've also really been using my Staedtler Tri Plus fine liners. I find that I use these most often. And then I also swatched out my Jelly Roll pens because I do use those occasionally. And I just thought that this would be a good point of reference for me to like compare colors. Then I also have my little key here. This is basically taken directly from Pinterest, and I just put this on a little index card and then used some double-sided tape to just secure it in there. I also just have like my email in here in case for some reason this gets lost. I also glued a little envelope to the inside of here that I just had from like a stationery set, and I put these little post-it tabs in there, which is what I kind of have used to divide these so far. This seems to be a pretty good method, and I figure I can just put like little stickers and things like that in this little envelope so that way I don't lose them. I haven't filled out the index yet. I know that this is like a big thing for like bullet journaling to have like this index. I honestly haven't really felt like I needed it, so that's why I haven't bothered to fill it out. So yeah, and then I sort of got a little bit bullet journal happy, and I sort of like forgot to do a yearly spread where I do like all the months and all the days and stuff, so I kind of just like jumped right into October, right? And you can see there's a lot happening here. I got really excited. And this was kind of where I was like, okay, I'm getting it over my head, but like that's okay. This is like my learning journal, right? This is where I'm kind of learning what works, what doesn't work. So I'm being very forgiving with myself in this first bullet journal. So in the next bullet journal that I have, and I'll talk about what my plans are once I finish this bullet journal later on, but I would like to have a yearly spread where I have like birthdays and just like major holidays and major dates for the entire year. Although since we are already kind of at the end of 2017, I feel like it's okay that I don't really include that. I am still using a couple of other planners outside of this journal right now as well. So it's sort of my supplementary planner for right now. But anyway, rambling. Here is my monthly spread for October. I kind of like the horizontal spread. That way I feel like the days aren't super crammed in. So I'm liking that for right now. And I created this using a ruler, my Pentel. Actually, I think I used these Stabilo liners for this. They look like this. They're very similar to the Staedtler Tri-Plus fine liners, but I just have them in different colors, so that's what I used to make the boxes. And then I just used, I believe, my black Tri-Plus fine liner to do the lettering up here and all the numbers. And then my header right here was done with the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen. I love the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen. Can't say enough good things about it. And then I sort of have just like a color coding system down here for like when major assignments are due, whether it's an exam, a paper, or a presentation. And then I just have a little note about what that is. And then I also just have, of course, a few important birthdays and stuff like that in here as well. You guys are probably pretty curious about the tracker. I know this was a major reason for me why I wanted to get into bullet journaling, because I wanted to kind of see my whole month as, you know, as I did everything. You'll notice that there's kind of a huge gap right here. This is, again, because I didn't start this journal until the 14th, so there was obviously some things that I couldn't go back and look up. Like, I can't go back in time and remember if I had a headache that day, or if I had cramps that day, whatever, or if I washed my hair. So I sort of just kind of let that slide. Obviously, there were some things that I could go back and track, like did I post on Instagram that day, did I post on YouTube, Patreon, Facebook, and things like that. And I have a Fitbit, so I can track like how much I slept and how many steps I had that day. So that was how I sort of filled in the days leading up to when I got the bullet journal. And I really like this. I feel like it needs some revisions. Obviously, it kind of took up more of the page than it needed to. And I feel like in the future, I'm going to kind of be separating this tracker into 2 parts. And I have sort of already started to do that for the month of November, and I'll show you guys that. But I was really excited to have a tracker. It's really helping me keep track of how many headaches I get a month, because I was starting to realize I'm getting headaches pretty frequently. And sort of what they might be caused by. I have this abstinence tracker in here. For those of you that watch the vlogs, you know that I have an assignment for my substance abuse class that I have to give up a substance for 28 days, and I'm choosing to give up sugar, or desserts rather. So I have sort of my qualifying statement up here. It says, for 28 days I will abstain from sweets. This includes desserts, candies, pastries, sweet coffee, drinks, and soda. And then I have the dates that I'm doing it for, as well as like the day 1 through 28, and then I have a pass-fail column right here, and then the notes. So I've done really well. I have not had dessert so far in this challenge, and I actually need to update these 2 days because we're currently on day 10 and I'm doing good. But I was tracking things, like I noticed every night with dinner, or before, during, or after dinner in the evenings, I was having a beer, at least 1 beer. And I wanted to track that because then I was thinking, okay, is this becoming a replacement for dessert? Is this sort of curbing my cravings a little bit? So I was tracking that. This night was the weekend that Keith and I made steaks, and I had some sangria with dinner. I figured I would just track that. It wasn't part of my plan to give up alcohol, but I thought, you know, it might be something to consider if I do feel like I'm replacing that later on. So yeah, this is my abstinence tracker. I talk a little bit more about this in my most recent vlog, so you can check that out if you're interested. But I will be updating you sort of as I complete this as well. So okay, the YouTube tracker. This needs some revisions because I don't feel like this is the most effective way for me to do it, but basically I just had all the days of the month, 1 through 31, and then I had a column for when I filmed and edited a video that day, and then once I uploaded it, I feel like I need to break it down a little bit more so that I'm just more effective at making sure I'm getting the 3 parts done. Like, I feel like filming and editing should be separate. And it doesn't really allow for like changes, so I feel like I need to rework this a little bit. So we're gonna do that in November. My expense tracker, I just thought that this would be interesting. I need to update it. I haven't gone back and sort of looked at everything, and the dates aren't really in order or anything like that, but I just thought that this would be a good idea to track, you know, where I'm spending my money, both personally and then Keith and I's joint expenses, just to see if like we can cut back on anything, if anything seems like we're doing it too much and we could be, you know, doing a little bit better about budgeting, then that's sort of what this is for. I have a little column here for video ideas. I realized early on when I was planning out the month of October that I wasn't occupying my space in the most efficient way. This is a perfect example of that. I have this big blank space right here that, you know, I'm not utilizing, but I do like the idea of having this little spot to jot down video ideas and refer back to this, and have this be more of like a flexible area, and then this be a little bit more rigid, but obviously life happens and things have to get moved around. So this is something I didn't really feel like I needed in my bullet journal, but I did see that people were utilizing this when I was looking on Pinterest, and obviously I have it sticky noted out so that you can't see my personal information and my usernames and passwords, but I just thought that this is kind of a useful spread. I don't know that I will necessarily utilize it in future bullet journals just because I don't really feel like I refer to it that much, but I guess it is nice to have. But really quickly, I'll talk about this. This is a chores breakdown. I saw this on Pinterest too and pulled basically 100% of the inspiration directly from there. This just breaks down chores into a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and then 3-month and 6-month category, so that I know, you know, I don't know, when I think about doing cleaning, I'm like, oh, I have so much to do, and I have to do this, I should do that, and then I just sort of don't end up getting any of it done because I get very overwhelmed. So this just breaks down like tasks that I should be thinking of doing weekly, bi-weekly, and then, you know, monthly and so on. So I like this. I think that this was really helpful for me, and even just the act of writing it down, even if I don't refer to it every day, has really helped me clean better. So yeah. This was another thing that I got from Pinterest, and I thought this was a really helpful idea. It's called When Did I Last, and it's broken down into when did I last, you know, change out my contacts, when did I last change my toothbrush, clean my car, and donate clothes and goods. I want to continually add to this because I do think that this is a really good idea, and it's really helpful because these are the things that I worry about at 2 a.m. when I can't fall asleep. I think, oh my gosh, when was the last time I changed my toothbrush out? Like, and it's crazy. So yeah, I want to start utilizing this more. And there's a completely blank page here. It kind of bums me out. So I will definitely be utilizing my space better. I feel like this could have gone in the blank space where the video ideas cloud was, and then I could have used this as the start of my weekly spread rather than starting it on the next page. So this, again, here is my first weekly spread. This was for October 15th through 21st, which ended up not actually being the exact dates. I messed up. It was supposed to be the 16th through the 22nd, but whatever. I have a little monthly thumbnail right here to remind me what week we're on. I have like a to-do list task, which is really helpful because I don't feel like these have to be done on specific days, but there are things that I like to do during this current week. I also break down my classes into different colors so that I have, you know, all of my different classes sort of organized. And then one thing that I would like to add in the month of November is a little looking into next week section so that I have an idea, you know, if I get everything done in this current week, what can I do to make next week easier? So yeah, that was something that I want to add. But I like the way that the weekly spreads are working right now. Obviously, they're really simple. This is done entirely with the Staedtler Tri Plus fine liner pens. I've been utilizing the black one the most. I feel like keeping it simple to start out with is the best way to approach the bullet journal. People get really into the aesthetics right away, and then it's not functional. So I'm trying to make sure that mine is functional first, pretty second. And the header up here is Pentel Pocket Brush Pen again. Another weekly spread. This one is a lot less full. This is actually the week that we're on. And I have some things that have not been checked off yet that I just haven't really gone back to check off. Like, I obviously did this artwork because that artwork went up this day, so that's all done. But there was just like other things that I wanted to get done this week that I feel like, you know, I've been utilizing it pretty well. This is on into next week, which is, there's only 2 days left of October, and then we get into November, and then after this we get into the November planning. So again, I have just a little to-do list. I have the little thumbnail again, and just like some things that I need to get done. Obviously, I will fill this out more as I get into this week and as I sort of look at my main calendar and my school assignments and stuff. Now we have November, and I started out November already a little bit, and I started out by doing basically the same monthly spread, planning out when assignments are due and when I'm going to be traveling, things like that. And I like this calendar method. I feel like this works really well, especially because I can kind of look at these two simultaneously, and I don't know, I like that. So unfortunately, you're not going to see me create this today, but in future bullet journal planning videos, I will try and remember to save all of the planning for the video so you guys can see how I do it. The monthly tracker is very similar. Again, I need to find a way to condense this more so that it's not just taking up so much space. But at this point, I was still referring directly back to this one and kind of taking the measurements exactly from this one. But I did include a few less items in this tracker. This one is basically all focused on like health and like recreational activities, I suppose. It's all like focused on me and not necessarily including like any of my social media stuff. Like here I have Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Facebook, and my Inktober stuff, which obviously is not going to be in November. But I wanted to have the social media section separate from this tracker because I feel like that's overlapping too much of my personal and my work life, and I want to have that separate. So in here I have a goal for if I reach 5,000 steps that day, if I reach 10,000 steps, if I work out that day, if I have more than 64 ounces of water, if I get more than 7 hours of sleep, if I wash my hair. It's just interesting for me to track that. I feel like, I don't know, it's interesting. When I'm on my period, when I'm having a headache, when I'm experiencing cramps. This just kind of helps me to see like how my symptoms are changing month to month. I don't know, that's helpful to me. Days when I don't spend any money at all, days when we don't eat out, and then days where I draw and color. So this I thought would be interesting to carry out into the month of November, just to see if I am drawing more regularly like I was in Inktober, and kind of using Inktober as like a learning experience to carry with me into my artwork. All right. Now we have sort of this newer aspect for the month of November. I have the social media tracker separate. Now you guys know in my current planner, I have something sort of similar to this. Let me show you. So kind of a sidetrack, but this is like the planner I was using before the bullet journal. I do like this planner. I feel like it's a good rough draft planner for me to just write things down. Like if I find out I have an assignment that day, like I can just scribble it down and then transfer it to the bullet journal. But what I do love about this planner is that it does have these sort of like graph pages in between the months, which is really helpful. And I sort of pasted my little social media tracker in here. I did hand draw it when I started doing this, like you can see here, but I feel like it was just easier to print it off. And this is sort of a variation of that. I think I will probably want to include a growth tracker in here next month, but I feel like for the time being I'm still kind of using both simultaneously, so it doesn't really make sense to have it in there twice. But this is just a way for me to track, you know, how many times like I'm posting on each of these platforms. Like am I doing it daily, weekly, you know, should I be posting more, less, whatever. So this is just a good way for me to track that. Again, I have another little box for my video ideas, which I find super helpful, I have to tell you. I think this is going to be a really useful way for me to keep track of ideas without feeling like I have to schedule them necessarily. And I also have a little box for monthly goals, which I thought was, I don't know, really cute. I don't know if I'll utilize that. I guess we'll see. But I'm going to switch over to a voiceover portion of the video now and sort of plan out with you guys my weekly spreads. And if there's any other spreads that I want to include, you'll see that too. Alrighty guys, so the next spread that I decided to add in for the month of November was another expense tracker. I feel like this is super helpful. I like being able to keep track of where I'm spending my money throughout the month, and I decided not to do anything fancy with it. I basically just did the same thing I did for the month of October and had sort of a running title, and then I had a column for the date, a column for the item/store description, 2 columns, one for joint expenses, one for personal expenses, and then a final column for the price. Next, I decided to implement my modified YouTube schedule tracker, and this is similar in some ways to the one that I did for October, but I just sort of added a few more columns. I have a column for the day of the week, either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, which are the 3 days that I do post videos. The column next to that has the actual date that the video is going up, and then I have a column for the video title and a column for when I film that video, edit it, and then schedule/upload it. So I feel like this is just a good way to separate the video and break it down into each of its steps, which just kind of helps me keep track of where I'm at with various videos. And we'll see how this works this month. Hopefully I like doing it this way. If I do, I will do it again this same way next month. And if not, I will change it up. That's the great thing about a bullet journal, is you can change it month to month and adapt it to best fit your needs. Alright, so now we're going on to the weekly spread, and these are pretty straightforward. I basically just add the month and then the days of the week that we are currently on up at the top corner. I do a little thumbnail of the calendar month and highlight the days of the week that we are currently on after I kind of get everything else laid out. And I create my little column for my to-do list for that week, and then I go in with my ruler and create 4 horizontal lines across both pages. And you'll kind of see what I mean more when I do this, but basically it allows me to have like 4 rows on each side of the page, and on the left side those 4 rows are going to be days 1 through 4 of the week, and then on the left side you're going to have the remaining 3 days of the week, and then the bottom section for the looking to next week, if that makes sense. Okay guys, so I just finished filling out all of the information that I am currently aware of for the month of November. Obviously I can't really fill out the monthly tracker or anything yet because we are still in October. I filled out a couple of my video ideas for the month of November, especially because the Justice League movie comes out this month, so I might want to do some fan art for that. I made my expenses spread, which you guys saw in the time lapse. I made my YouTube schedule spread, and I messed up on some of the numbering, so if they look a little weird, it's because I had to wipe them out. And I put in all of the videos that I'm going to make. And just a quick note about this, I'm actually deciding right now on the spot that I'm not going to do a time-lapse video for this Friday. I'm going to make that my Inktober update and just kind of give myself a break between the month of November and the end of October, because November is a really busy month for me and I need to get ahead on some videos. So I think just having to do a simple sketchbook update for that Friday will be a really big help, and it means I can upload the bullet journal video on that Wednesday. So you guys will see this video, well, you're seeing it right now, but yeah, that's the video, that's the date I'm going to plan on putting it up. And I have a column for when I film it, I can check it off. When I edit, I can check that off, and then when I schedule/upload it, I can check that off as well. I may continue to sort of modify and add to this spread as we go on. I still need to find a different spread, maybe several smaller spreads to fill up this page, because I have kind of an odd number of spreads and it's a little bit weird to just have this empty page, but I can always add to this later on. My first week spread, I have a lot of assignments due in November, so I sort of filled out everything that I know of right now. I will utilize the to-do list more as I get to the actual week itself, and as I have errands I need to run, I can fill that in here. And I really think I'm gonna enjoy this peek at next week's section, because I think that's just gonna be really helpful. So we have this week, which again, just more assignments. I have some of my travel reminders in here as well. And I have, you can see here, I utilized the next week tool. And then I left everything for December until my next Plan With Me video, so that way you can see me build it more from scratch. Unfortunately, this time I really only filmed me doing one of the week spreads because it's kind of very repetitive and not that interesting. I like this, it's simple, and I can easily refer to it and look at it when I need it. So yeah, this is where we are at. And then just one last thing that I wanted to note. After I complete this bullet journal, which I am already about halfway through, I believe, so I don't think this is going to get me very far. I will probably continue to utilize it until the end of 2017, and then after that point, I am actually going to migrate over to this. This is my Happy Planner. I've had this, you can see it's 2016 to 2017, and what I like about the Happy Planner is that you can actually remove the pages and like switch out the inserts, and I found an Amazon seller that makes bullet journaling pages for the Happy Planners for this specific 9-ring version, and I believe they're a little pricey, but I believe I'm going to move over to that because then I can sort of insert the pages as I need to, and I can make more permanent pages and not have to do them in every new journal. I can just sort of always have them in there, and so that's what I think I'm going to be doing once I fill up this bullet journal, because it'll be a little bit bigger, I'll have a little bit more space, and it'll also just be, I feel like, more efficient long term for 2018. So that is my plan, but hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment, leave me feedback so that I know what you guys want to see, what you don't want to see, you know, how can I make them better and more enjoyable for you to watch. What kind of spreads would you like to see me do? What sort of things would you like to see me talk about? And if you are interested, I will have the link down below to where I got the Suo color markers, as well as the listing for the bullet journals that I got, because they came in a pack of 3. I will use these, don't worry. I'm not like just gonna have them sitting on my shelf forever. I will probably use them as travel journals because I will be going to Spain in the spring. So I can use them for that. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Subscribe if you want to be part of my little internet family, and I will see you guys next time.